Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Bay and today we're going to be doing something for Inktober. This isn't going to follow any of the prompts that are part of the official Inktober. I wanted to doodle something in lieu of it, and I will be posting a video at the end of the month of everything that I have drawn in Inktober. I'm going to try and do it every day. I've currently been struggling with it. It is pretty difficult. For those who don't know, Inktober is a 31-day drawing challenge, and a lot of people participate in it. You're supposed to do it, pen, ink, or a lot of people use fine liners, something like that. But I don't know if it's super strict. The prompts are really fun though, so I wanted to give it a shot again this year. I'll try and get as many done, and like I said, I'll do a video at the end of the month. But I figured, it's Inktober, and I could do something in between, so I decided to kind of roll with it, see what came up. At first, I didn't really have any ideas what I was going to draw during this video. I was stumped. I was like, you know what, I really want to get something out there. But I went through the Inktober tag, kind of trying to find some inspiration, and I advise you guys do that. There's some amazing art being done right now. And it's so inspiring to see just what people can come up with based on the prompts or all the other challenges that people create during October. It's a really interesting thing to see people use the traditional media, I was trying to do a couple of other Inktober things that people have created during the month, so we'll see how well I do. But for this, I wanted to do something kind of creepy, but I'm not very good at creepy, so she turned out more pretty than anything. I wanted her to be kind of like a demon of some kind, so I gave her these kind of sheep-like horns, and I went with like a Lolita dress because I thought it would be really pretty and it would look really good in black and white. For my Inktober sketches, I'm trying to keep it to 1 or 2 colors, nothing more than that. Mostly because the sketchbook I'm drawing in, the one you saw in my last video, it doesn't hold ink very well, so I can't use my Copics or my Spectrum Noir colors, nothing like that. So I figured I'll use like my Tombows or my Ohuhu markers. They've got a good selection of colors, so at least that way I get something in it. I know a lot of people tend to stick to the monotone colors. Monotone? That's not right. Anyway. They stick to the grayscale, but I'm not very good at grayscale. It's probably something I should practice on, but we'll see. I just don't have any gray markers that I can really use that look good. For the clouds here, I decided to go with a thicker fine liner. I think it's one I got in a scroller box. I'm not entirely sure, I'd have to look. I wanted the clouds to kind of be bold and stand out on their own, and as you can see, I have a lot of fine liners. But for the main body of the piece, I used a Tombow, I think it's a Kuretake, I'm not sure. But it's a plastic nib, it's flexible without like bending all the time, so I've really become accustomed to using this fine liner. It's like my favorite one right now. But I could have used, oh yeah, if you look there, I smudged my umbrella. I intended to do something else with it, and I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do? So I ended up coloring the whole thing black and turning it into like a bat-like shape. Thankfully, this fine liner, I probably should have tested it first, doesn't go through the paper. So at least there's that. All in all, I do like the umbrella in black. I think that's what I was going to do anyway, but it wasn't how I intended to line it up. You know, I planned on doing something different with it, but it is what it is. I think definitely the hardest part of this drawing for me was doing all these stupid little frills that I felt were necessary. I saw something on Twitter about how to draw frills, and it, for the most part, it does seem to work. It's like you draw the little squiggly lines and then you attach the solid lines to it, as you'll see, and it makes a ruffle, and it does work. I just kind of gotta make it look better. But definitely the hardest part for me was all these unnecessary little frills, but I just thought it looked so cute, and I really loved the dress. So I wanted to keep true to that, even if it was a little more difficult. My original idea for her hands, because I wanted her to be demon-like, was to do something like the witch's hands from Left 4 Dead. But I mean, with her hands the way they were, one was holding the umbrella, one was out of the, out of the panel. So it didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. So I was like, you know what, what's the point of putting in a detail like that if I'm gonna barely see it? So I kind of scrapped that idea. It did look cool, but it just, didn't work for this picture. Maybe I'll draw another one with this girl and kind of maybe show more of her demon side. Not sure. But I did really like her design all in all, even if the dress was difficult for me. So I ended up taking my smallest fine liner I have. I think it's like a 005 to put in some small details in her shirt and kind of give it that sort of texture to it to make it look different than the rest of the dress. It did kind of have something like that in the photo I was using. I just thought it looked really nice. Though this fine liner is so stupidly small. Like, I don't use it very often, but it's great for tiny, tiny details in clothing, so I really, really was happy that I was able to get those tiny lines in. And even like the little charms hanging off the umbrella. I don't know why I put them in there, I just thought they kind of looked cute, but it was just nice little details so they stood out, and different line variation. I kind of wish I had maybe done that a little more around the picture, but meh. I still like it at the end of the day, and that's what's important. Definitely my biggest concern about this drawing was when I went in to go with the black for her hair and her dress later on. I was so afraid that this fine liner, was going to go through the page and I was going to like ruin the back side of it, because it was just, after smudging the umbrella, I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be like such a juicy fine liner, what am I going to do? But I tried to fine line in sections for the hair and the dress so that way I wasn't smearing it again. But unfortunately for me, I didn't realize it was on my other hand, and you can see it's now clasped. I got some fingerprints on the page and I couldn't erase them, I couldn't block them out with anything, so that was kind of disappointing on my part. Definitely something to consider when you're doing your Inktober pieces is that your hands are clean, and if you are smearing ink, just to double check, double check your wrist, double check your hand, your fingertips, even if you don't think there's anything on them, maybe just be sure. Because, black on a white piece of paper stands out a little bit. I mean, it's more noticeable to me than probably anybody else, but just that little spot drives me nuts. Something I didn't consider while I was doing this, though, was the fact that I wanted the black part of her, the bottom frills to be black, so it's like, oh yeah, I'll just, line that at all and it'll look really pretty. And then I realized, like, oh, I put in all those details for nothing, because, I'm gonna have to color it in. So I got stumped there at first, but I just ended up filling it in for the sake of it, and I took a white gel pen a little later once it had all dried to try and get those details back in. It kind of worked. Maybe I should have used like a paint or something. I don't know. Here I decided to add in a nice pop of color in the background. I'm really loving this yellow marker I got. I think it's a Faber-Castell, and it's such a light color. It doesn't take away from the image, and it's really good for just adding some nice accents of color. And I've been using it a lot in my Inktober pieces as well as one of my Tombows, because it's so easy to add in color. Unfortunately, because it's yellow, you know, you touch a black line and it smears, and then your yellow tip is now black. So it's just something to be aware of when you're fine lining and when you're coloring. Because, yeah, you can see I have a scrap piece of paper there. I keep cleaning it off and cleaning it off. Ugh, just drove me nuts. Definitely the hardest part about this drawing, though, I think, was where the black meets the black, defining that so that way it was its own separate entity. It's something I'm definitely going to have to practice, but I utilized my my white gel pen quite a bit in this picture just to get those details back in and to get the defined lines. Something just to break it away. It was super difficult because, unfortunately, white gel pens, as great as they are, they don't quite dry white. They kind of go... well, at least the ones I have seem to go a little translucent over the black. Over every other color I've never had an issue, but something about on this black, it just, it would not figure its stuff out. So that was kind of disappointing, but all in all, I think it did its purpose. So, you know, I went back and added like the little frills, and I added a cute little face to the umbrella just to kind of, you know, something fun. I decided to make it a bat because it's Halloween, well, Halloween month, and I thought it would be really cute. But this white gel pen did not want to go over the black. I think I go over it a few times, to be quite honest. And for fun, I just added a little bit of a design onto her umbrella staff. Keep it interesting. I know my friend originally said to do something on the umbrella, but I had already committed to the bat by the time I had gotten to that point, so it is what it is. At the end of it, I wanted a second pop of color, and this is why when I messed up the umbrella earlier, it was so unfortunate, because I had intended to use the red with it. I was having it raining blood, and I wanted to put the blood on top of the umbrella as well, so I was going to go in with the red and draw that in quick and then fine line around it, but once I had smeared it, I scrapped the idea. But I definitely like the red as a nice pop of color. It really brought it for me. And she was supposed to be a demon, so I wanted her to look like she just attacked someone, but she was graceful, you know, kind of make her more subtle in its own way. And I love red with black and white pieces, so I thought it looked really cool. And this Ohuhu marker is just awesome. I was able to get in some nice details there. For the last little bit here, I just threw in some reflection from the moon onto the clouds, just something to kind of make them stand out a little bit on their own. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to draw this, and it was nice to kind of work with such a limited color palette. Inktober is definitely fun. You guys should give it a try. So I hope you guys enjoy this final piece, and I look forward to sharing all my Inktober sketches with you at the end of the month. Thanks. Bye.